Hi guys, and welcome to another review. This time it's the BMW Z4. This of course is the third generation Z4, although technically probably the fourth generation, because obviously it succeeded the Z3, and it's the same sort of roadster sort of car that BMW has in that lineup. Now, a lot of people know this as the car that exists basically because of the Toyota Supra. BMW personally didn't really want to build another roadster. They saw the convertible market softening a little bit, but when there was that opportunity to collaborate with Toyota to create the new Supra, there was an opportunity to create this. Now, this one doesn't have the same engine that the Supra has in the UK, which of course is the straight 6 3-cylinder with the 340 brake horsepower. So I'm not really doing a comparison as such, I'm just assessing this car. Now the engine in this car is available in the Supra and other markets, but not in the UK. So what is this car? Well, actually let's start with the basics first. There's three models in the range. You start with the Z4 sDrive 20. All of them are 2 litre. The two that I'm going to mention are 2 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engines. The sDrive 20 starts from £38,000 and it has 197 brake horsepower, 236 pounds-foot of torque. That'll do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds and a top speed of 149 miles per hour. You can get up to 40 miles per gallon, and the CO2 emissions is 138 grams per kilometer. Now this one is a Z4 sDrive 30i. This one is the M Sport. They start from £42,000. Although this particular car with all the options on it is pretty much knocking on the door of 50,000 plus actually. I'll get into the options when I get inside. Again, 2-cylinder, 2 litre 3 or 4-cylinder engine. This one now has 258 brake horsepower and 295 pounds-foot of torque. The 0 to 62 miles per hour on this one is 5.4 seconds, and of course it has that capped top speed of 155 miles per hour. 39 miles per gallon up to, says BMW, and the emissions is 138 grams per kilometer. Now, the top of the range car is of course the Z4 M40. Now that is from £50,000. Remember, this one actually in the spec is £50,000. That one starts at £50,000. That'll get you 340 brake horsepower. That of course is the same straight 6 3-litre that's in the Supra, turbo of course. 0 to 62 in 4.6 seconds and 155 miles per hour capped again. 33 miles per gallon on that one, 165 grams per kilometer CO2. I said that one starts at 50 just as a comparison. The Toyota Supra, which is a coupe, not convertible, is actually starting for £53,000 in the UK. Now the new Z4 is slightly longer. It's about 8 centimeter longer, 7 centimeter wider than the previous car, about a centimeter taller. But interestingly, they've shortened the wheelbase by about just under 3 centimeters to improve the handling of the car. Now this color, you're probably thinking, what is it? This is frozen gray to metallic. The color alone is a £2,000 option on this car. And of course I've got the roof down on the car because, you know, it's cold and it's wet, but you know, you've got to have the roof down on a convertible. And you can put the roof down at speeds of up to 31 miles per hour, and it's very, very quick, as you'll see. So I'm going to look at the practicality a little bit, but really this car is all about driving, and that's what we're going to do. But before we get into any of that, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure you follow me on all the social media channels. Just search my hashtag. It's on my hashtag browncarguy, and of course subscribe to browncarguy.com. If you enjoy my content, consider supporting me and sponsoring my content on patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. Cool, let's get into this. Have a look back here. I do like the way that this is styled at the back. The brake lights in there, Z4, and that's where the badge is, the sDrive, and very easy to open like that. You can open it on the fob as well. Now in here, it's not such a bad boot actually if you think about it. Not massive, of course, as you'd expect, but decent enough. And there is a ski slot down there, so you can actually put longer things through there. There's a little pocket on this side, and a couple of hooks to hang your shopping at, but not too much. But having said that, all things considered, this is a convertible, and you know, in that perspective, you would expect the cover to take up more space, but as you can see, the cover actually the roof actually sits in its own little cavity above the boot, so it doesn't really rob you of too much boot space. So that's quite clever. Let's see what the cabin is like. Bright red, check it out, how cool is that? So this is a pretty nice interior, as you'd expect. I mean, it's a lovely car, let's be honest. It's a really good looking car. I think it's a really good evolution of the Z4 theme, and I think that being wider, lower, it looks even better than it's ever looked. You might even argue that possibly it's better looking than the Supra. Dare I say that? I think I could say that. Check out back here, and this one obviously, I'm going to get into the spec when I get into the car, but this one obviously is very well spec'd out. So you can see the speakers back here, you can see the shield here which stops the buffeting inside the cabin, and this of course is the ski slot as I mentioned, but also can be used as a little compartment because it is closed from the other side, so you can put stuff in there, and there is a net back here so you can put stuff in there as well, which is quite important because otherwise, you know, you've only got this space here, which is a couple of cup holders and a little compartment there to put stuff, and then you've got the glove box. I'll show you more and when I get inside. So low car, but not too difficult to get into, and in here we've got another compartment there. That's a wireless charger for your phone, plus a USB point and a power supply. Another little compartment there, and this is of course a glove box, so you get a decent sized glove box, not massive, and you get these tiny little door pockets as well on this side. Very, very red on this car. Let's turn it on. So just have a look at the dashboard because this is entirely digital. Of course, this is digital, this is all digital. Let me turn the car on and you can see that all comes on. Of course, these are configurable, and you know, you get all the different settings and stuff there. That's where you control the computer, and it shows you how much torque and power that you're using when you're driving, the G-forces that you're pulling, that's the radio station, that's just what mode you're in, the fuel economy. I've got 23 miles per gallon out of this over a course of 70 miles. So not quite what they are claiming, but then, you know, I've been driving it spirited fashion, and you get all the other information there as well. On the steering wheel, you've got the cruise control systems here, very easy to use. You can set it up from there. That's your entertainment controls over there, paddle shifts, and this is the button for the heated steering wheel. Very useful right now in this cold weather. There's a bank of switches here for the lights. Over here you've got the climate control. This is the screen, as you'd expect. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, DAB radio, all the BMW Connect systems. If you're familiar with that, it's all there. It all works really well. And you can operate the shortcuts from there as well. That's all touch system. You can see it's moving there. So if I do this, you'll see that come up on there. So that's very, very neat. Here's the what they used to call the iDrive, the iController, and from there you can also do that, but actually I just prefer to do the touch thing because I just find that a bit easier. But you do all have all of that there. That's the button for the roof. That's a parking brake. This is auto hold to hold the car when you're at a stop. There's your different modes. Now, comfort mode is a default setting and everything is set in comfort. I'll talk about this when we're driving the car. I've got it in sport, and in sport you can see here you've got standard, you've got sport plus, which is the extra dynamic setting, and then you've got the individual. And then I prefer to have it in individual, where I have everything in sport except for the damping, which is I keep that in comfort. Now, as I said, this car has got a lot of options on the car, and you know, I'm going to go through some of them, not in a lot of details. As you can see, there's a lot of detail here, but it has, for example, the technology pack with the park assistant, the head-up display. I've got a full color head-up display, and this one has got the 12-speaker Harman-Kardon 464 watt sound system. As standard, you still get a 10-speaker 205 watt sound system. That'll set you back £1,800. You've got the driver assistant pack with active cruise control, stop and go. That'll set you back about £900. And you've got the comfort pack, which then includes the heated steering wheel and the electric power for the driver's seats, the front seats I should say, and the electric memories as well. Wind deflector, which is this thing, a lumbar support, all the rest of it. That's £1,700. That includes this little ski slot as well. And then you've got the M Sport Plus package, which of course this car has, and that gives it the 19-inch wheels, jet black on this car. Otherwise, I think it's 18-inch wheels. It's got the M Sport differential. If you like a bit of drifting, that's what you want. And it's got the adaptive M Sport suspension, which makes such a big difference there. And of course, these quite nice, colorful, I don't know if you can see the little stripes on there, the seat belts as well. So they're all part of that pack. and that lot is 1950, and we're not done yet. So and then we've got other things. These are included on it: M steering wheel, M seats, M aerodynamic body styling, and the Wi-Fi hotspot preparation. Total price on this car £50,500. So the main thing about the car is how does it drive? Let's do that next. There we go. Let's give this a little bit of a run. Wow! Straight away you can feel the acceleration and the power of this car. I mean, this is not massively powerful, but it's enough for what you needed to do. I've got it in Sports Plus. I normally drive it in Sports Individual. Individual, you can basically turn everything onto Sports, but you can leave the ride on Comfort. Right now I've got it on Sports Plus, and as you can see, I'm being chucked around a little bit. It's very, very rigid. The car itself is set up very rigidly, as you would expect. Being the Roadster that it is, it's very, very tight. It's very solid. There's no flex in it, which is good because, with the roof down, there's no scuttle shake at all. But it does mean that it picks up in Sports Plus, it picks up every little ridge. This is a few nice little corners here. Wow. Really nice. It flows really well. You can really, the steering is judged very nicely. There's no movement or anything like that, and no undue movement, I should say. If you're going to push it, then probably you will get movement, but no undue movement. It's very planted, very solid, and it gives you a lot of confidence. In fact, that was really enjoyable series of bends right there. I think I might turn around and do those again. If I can just find a place to turn around, that is. It's one of those cars really that it's not a full-on hardcore sports car. Like, you don't have to be on it all the time. You can basically just go, well, today I feel like cruising, and then you cruise. And other times you feel like, oh, you know what, I'm out here and I want to enjoy this, then you can enjoy it. So you get the best of a few worlds actually with this car. That's kind of what you're getting. Now I've got the gearbox in auto, but let's put it into manual. Now you can even in automatic use the paddles which are right here, very, very handy, fixed to the steering wheel to set the gears, and the gears change instantly, very, very quickly. There you go. Not a problem at all. But even when it's in automatic, you can do that as well. And then once you leave it for a while, it then goes back to automatic. Engine sounds pretty sporty, pretty rorty. You got a lot of gears to play with, and sometimes I lose track of the gears, but there is a little display right in front there that tells you. Now again, very, very nice, good brakes. Again, very tight little corner here, and nicely guided in. Steering is very positive, good amount of turning, not overly sharp, not overly responsive. Again, they've stopped short of making it like hardcore sports car, but yet it's enough. It's more than enough, in fact. I could do with maybe a little bit more weight on the steering, especially considering that it's in Sports Plus, but it's okay. Again, it's about right. It does lighten up, obviously, in the normal mode. But the ride, again, like I said, I'm picking up every little thing now that I'm in the Sports Plus mode, but when it's in Comfort, we'll switch it into Comfort in a minute. So back into some slower speeds because we're a bit into town again, and again putting it into full automatic. Let's put it into Comfort mode for a bit, and it all just calms down immediately. It's like the car just goes, oh, all right then, let's just take it easy. Literally the whole nature of the car just settles down. It doesn't even sound as aggressive, throttle response is less. It's like two personalities, which is very interesting, which is why, in fact, I've been driving it around in sports mode for most of the time, because I think I like that personality more than this cruiser personality. But we're behind some cars at the moment, so it's best to keep it in here in this mode. Great comfort, seating position. I've been struggling to get a good seating position for my frame, but I'm an awkward frame anyway. But I like to sit upright, and the car actually is more conducive to sitting a little bit further back. But eventually you get it right. It's all electric on this car. And I can wear a hat with the windows closed and the rear buffeting screen in place. So that means the buffeting in here is actually pretty good. Very little, no shake at all actually. You can't see the mirror moving at all. And it's all, like I said, it's all very, very solidly built, just as you would expect. So actually a very comfortable car, even with the roof down. And of course, even in this weather with the heater on and the heated seats and the heated steering wheel, you can still do all of this. But also the fact that actually it's quite comfortable to just cruise along and then ride in, which is what it's meant to do. Acceleration is very, very good. To be honest, you can't really want for more than that. I mean, you know, it's got more than enough. I mean, around 5 seconds or so is plenty in most cars. Go anything less than that and you're in silly territory anyway. So it's more than enough performance. Working through the gears is really quick. It does not feel slow at all. And the brakes are good. Handling is good. Ride is good. Really, you can't really fault it. Like I said, it's not a super sharp sports car, but it does a very good impression of a sports car, and it will play along and you can have fun with it. You can every now and then feel that it's a little bit twitchy and fidgety at the back, but that's normally when the surface is a bit slippery, when it's been a bit wet like it was yesterday, for example. But nothing too dramatic, nothing too elaborate unless you want it to be. You can, of course, turn off the traction. It's a BMW. Make of that what you will. So other than that, I think it's a really, really good car. I'm just going to take it onto the motorway with the roof down and we'll see what that's like. So here we are now cruising at motorway speeds, and as you can see, my hat is still on, so that's good. Although I am getting a little bit concerned about it. There is a little bit of buffeting at the back. I hope you can hear me okay. Now at the motorway we have got active cruise control on here. It's set from the buttons over here. Very easy to do and works really well. I can do it right now. It's already set, in fact, just by pressing one button. The display is very clear in front of you. That's a very big screen. You've got a nice long view ahead of you with the bonnet. Now the bonnet, when you're pulling out of junctions and stuff, you do have to ease out a little bit because you do get the feeling that yes, it's a little bit of a long bonnet. I just want to be careful when I'm pulling out. But other than that, really, you are sitting quite low in this car. So around town, that can be a little bit tricky a little bit. Just in terms of judging where you are. Again, if you're used to sitting higher up in an SUV or a bigger car, then you might find it a little bit tricky. But after a while, you get used to it. It's not too much of a problem. It's got a reversing camera and stuff, so parking and stuff is not an issue either. Generally, it's a really easy car to drive, considering, and of course because it's an automatic as well. I'd love to see if I don't think they do a manual version of this car. I imagine that would be great if they did, but I don't think that's going to happen. Automatic seems to be the way, but you know, the paddle shifts do compensate a little bit. But overall, it's not only a very easy car to drive, it's a car that does so many things so well. So you can cruise on it, you can cruise in it, you can cruise on the motorway like I am now. I can do the B-road stuff like I was doing earlier. I can drive it around town. It's reasonably practical, you know, for simple shopping and stuff and what have you. So all round, it works really well. I mean, I can't see any reason not to like this car. So there you go. And I think that if you're not spending, you know, the full, 50 grand for the top spec version, and you go for this one, I think this is more than enough Z4 for anyone. And you know what? It's probably the one to get. So there you go. There's my verdict on the Z4, particularly in the 30 drive guys, S30 drive, whatever it's called. Let me know what you think of the car, the review, anything else you want to talk about. It's quite bright at the moment and the sun is directly in my eyes, so I hope you can see me. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Leave your comments, like I said, above, below, elsewhere. Make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure that you're subscribing to browncarguy.com and following me on all my social media channels. Just search for my hashtag. It's on my hat right there. Hashtag browncarguy. And of course, if you can and you enjoy my content, think about supporting me on patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. And then you can join such great people as Mohamed Ali Humaid, Partha, find him on parthans.com, Tom Conway-Gordon, Isaac Beauchard, find him on bespokeautos.com. Then you got Raza Adil, find him on Instagram at alizade.cigars. And you got Mohammed Qasim, find him on WEMS.com. I think I've got that right, but the URL should be coming up on the screen. And also Isaac, what's his name? Siraj Abbasi from virtuosodesign.london. Those guys are awesome. They absolutely rock. You could join that lineup and also appear in this roll call of BCG fame. That would be great. It's from as little as £2, $2 a month. Head over to patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. Otherwise, make sure you hit that like, try to comment, try and share. Make sure that you're subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.